Hello there. Video number 2 for the day. Again, we'll keep with entertainment. Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond. Neil's okay. Well, he's not. He's not well at the moment, which is a shame. But great entertainer, great performer, great songwriter. Have seen him myself in his heyday. Great to watch. Not sure about some of the suits, Neil, but brilliant entertainer. Wrote some great songs. Watch something today on YouTube. If you get a chance, have a look at it. It's about 8-9 minutes long. It's from, I think, one of the big news channels in America. And I think it's been done pretty recently. This was happening. I think they've recently opened a musical regarding Neil Diamond's life in America. And they're interviewing him over the last few days about the musical's opening. He's actually attended the opening of the musical. It's a packed audience, a packed house as you'd expect. Personally, from bits I've seen, I would have preferred somebody that sounded even more like Neil Diamond in Neil's part. Looks-wise, I'm not that bothered, but I like somebody to really sound alike. And the guy that did the singing, I thought wasn't a patch on Neil Diamond, but that's just my opinion, and that's what I do here. But still, that's not what this video is about. What this video is about Neil Diamond and his current health situation and how the opening went. As I say, it was packed. Looks like it went down really, really well. Neil looked to be in great spirits. It was nice to see him. I've not seen him for 3 or 4 years. I know he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's about 5 years ago. And I think he's done what most performers have done when they've been diagnosed with something that's pretty scary. They've moved out of public life. Obviously, we've got our own Billy Connolly, who is a superstar with Parkinson's as well. He's one of the few that's bucked the trend and still regularly is filmed. And I think he's doing a show now on Gold or somewhere alike from his home. I've seen his last series. I'll take this one, not seen it yet, but it's fantastic to watch. But Neil, being a performer and a singer, I think has retreated very much from public life. I've not seen anything of him anywhere on our screens. And he's there in the audience, and he actually is in the box, almost like a royal box. Not that there was a royal box there. He sat in a box with his wife and a couple of friends, and I think on one of the major songs in the play, he's actually got a mic in his hand and he's singing the chorus. And honestly, to a man, to a woman, everybody in the theatre stood up with him and singing it back to him. A wonderful thing to see. They really, really celebrated his life and his music, and it was heartwarming. It was great. But while the chap who's interviewing him is talking to him, he's talking about that opening night and the feeling he got from the audience and what have you. He's saying, "Do you miss singing?" He said, "Well, yeah, I miss it greatly. I mean, I still do it, because it's like it feeds the soul. It's great, but obviously he does it privately." He says, "But yeah, misses not performing." He said, "I miss all of that." And as I say, I mean, he only did this chorus. He doesn't look as healthy as he did, obviously. I mean, he's had Parkinson's for 5 years now. He doesn't look bad, but he doesn't look as great as he used to. Although I think part of that is he's not all overly dressed because he's not performing. He's not got the stage clothes he would have on. Obviously, he's only being interviewed. I don't mean he's let himself go. I don't mean that. I think he'd have done more with his appearance had he been still performing. By that I mean I think his hair was a bit greyer and whatever else. I mean, maybe he'd have touched himself up more and done things, because in the media you still have to look young whether you are or not. There'd have been things that he'd have probably done different. I think he had something of a beard. I think, if memory serves, I've only seen it today and I already don't remember. You normally see him as clean shaven, but he looked good. And as I say, on this chorus he sounded pretty good. For all it was, the loads of people were singing, you couldn't hear it properly. And I thought at the time, and I mean, this will never get to you, Neil, but if it does, by some sort of miracle, I thought, wouldn't it be good if he did another LP at his own pace, his own time, obviously with recording studios. I mean, he can record a song a day, a song every week or whatever, Would it be good if he did one more LP, maybe a greatest hits thing, singing with Parkinson's? Because his voice still sounded pretty strong. He looked pretty good. He obviously wouldn't have to tour the album, but I think it would give people get things like Parkinson's and these other diseases is the wrong word, I'm pretty sure it is, conditions and And some of them are life changing. Well, many of them are life changing. Parkinson's, no doubt it is, but they're not always life threatening or end of life. You can, there's certain things you can live many years with. But I know there's many people suffering with Parkinson's. I have a friend myself who's suffering with it, and in a weird way, I'm a little ashamed because it's someone I've not spoken to for a couple of years. I've always meant to, but our paths don't cross. And he's a lovely fellow, this fellow, by the way. But I think it would be uplifting for people with the same condition to see a mainstream artist come back into the mainstream and put something out there saying you can still do things like this for all you've got Parkinson's. And I would imagine it would still sound pretty good. I would imagine it would still sell very well, because you'd not so much that you'd have millions and millions and millions of people with Parkinson's buying it, although there may well be millions with Parkinson's. Many with Parkinson's might not like Neil Diamond, so there's no reason to buy it. But I think many of his fans would buy it, and I don't mean as like a circus act to see what he sounds like, but to support the fact that he's doing an LP to show that you can still do a lot with a certain condition. Maybe even half the money or all the money could go to Parkinson's to help fund more research into it. I don't know, maybe that'd be an idea, but I think he could probably do it, and I think he'd probably get a lot out of it. And I think those with Parkinson's and with other conditions that, that make life harder, I think they would appreciate it. Anyway, that's just a thought. That's a thought for me on a Thursday. I don't know what you think. If you disagree, let me know below. If you agree, again, let me know below.